Tracy Martin.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. Just a quick comment on the contribution by the member who just resumed his seat. Fascinating, the discussion about the introduction of taxes and levies suggested by the Labor Party from a government that actually has introduced two in the last 18 months on the telecommunications and actually on tourists coming into our country. So it's amazing. It's always interesting to hear it's a word I can't use, sir, but it's always very, very interesting to hear it from the government benches. I want to talk about rural women, Mr Speaker. I want to talk about rural women here today because actually they've been forgotten by this government. They've been forgotten on so many levels. There's the Rural Women's Conference is taking place this Friday, and it's about time that they should be acknowledged. I want to talk about a survey that came out in August that was a research project released by Lincoln University that showed that 57% of rural women surveyed find isolation their top issue. The reason why I raise it, sir, is because it fascinates me that we have a Facebook page of the Farming Mums of New Zealand. The Farming Mums of New Zealand, there's 6,000 followers on that particular page, 6,000 members. It's a social media site for farming women who are some of the backbone of the country, who are the rocks of their family, who support their husbands during hard time, who continue to take their children to schools, who work on the farm and work off the farm and make sure that they can contribute financially to the farm when it's going through difficult financial times. This Facebook, set up by the Mums of New Zealand with 6,000 members, has been set up there so that women can articulate and support each other as they are 30% of those in the rural area who are killing themselves. They represent 30% of the rural suicides in New Zealand. And they have asked for a single thing of this government. They have asked for the possible support of a full-time counsellor to be provided so that the women who are part of this social network group can have a professional that they can speak to, that they can seek advice from, that they can get a service from. In 2012, the Prime Minister John Key announced $62 million would be set aside for mental health services to be rolled out over a period of years here in New Zealand. $62 million. I've got the figures today on the amount of that money that has been spent. All links to do with that announcement have disappeared. All links to do with that announcement have now disappeared. So of the $62 million worth of, and it was targeted at youth mental health, but it had families and communities as one as the downstream effect, $44.6 million of it has been spent since 2012. That leaves $17.4 million unspent, but all links have been removed to this announcement. And even if we were to look at the youth mental health, the projections that are inside the budget all the way out to 2018, that would equate only to another $12 million. So that means that there's $5.4 million available to this government to support rural women and this particular service, the single thing that so far they've been asking for. That if you were going to get an experienced counsellor to be provided to these 6,000 women, it would cost you $15 a head per annum. $15 a head per annum, so between $90,000 to $100,000 a year for a fully qualified and experienced counsellor that these women could have available to them so they can continue to be the backbones of their community, continue to support their children in their day-to-day lives, continue to support their husbands. And I would ask the government to listen now to the statement I've just made and reach out to rural women. Here's an announcement for you, Minister for Women. Here's an announcement that you could take this Friday or Saturday, whichever day it is that you're actually going to that conference. You could make this announcement. Provide this funding so that we can support the women that are doing it hard right now out there in the rural sector. The Rural Mental Health Initiative is attempting to do what they can, but without literal support from this government, women will continue to suffer, women will continue to fail and continue to be among the suicide statistics of our rural communities. Kia ora.